Chris Allen, and this is the Chris Allen MMA show. Today, I'm being joined by one of the top trainers in the UK at the moment. He's got a team of killers at the moment, as well as himself pursuing his MMA career. It's Mr. Steven Cooke. Hello, my friend. How are you?
How's it going, buddy? You good?
Yeah, really good, mate. Good to chat to you again. Obviously, last time I saw you, I think we were at ECMMA, weren't we, with Dave fighting?
Yeah. My boy was fighting a few of the other ones, Harry and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not really pursuing an MMA career. That's only I'm only doing that just as a little thing on the side. I'm more interested in the boys and the guys doing it. I'm strictly BJJ. I don't like getting punched in the face. We have a very good trainers for like the to mix all the MMA with the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, and the Muay Thai at the gym. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had a couple of fights, but it's not really something that like is really interested me like to pursue. I'm getting old now. But I always wanted to be on the same card as like my son or something like that. So that was something that we've done. I still might do one more if I can get on the same card as my son and daughter. So that's probably my little aspirations that I'm going towards, but not making a career of it. These young guys out there, they're killers. You know what I mean? I'm getting too old now.
Didn't you have one coming up, which obviously has been cancelled because of all this stuff?
Yeah, so me and my son were going to fight on the same card. We were going to fight on our show, the Team Underground card, promoted by myself, Jonathan Haggerty, Scott Bothwick, the white collar boxing promoter, and obviously the main man, John Haggerty, Jonathan's dad. We was putting our show on, and I was going to fight on that, and but only because Big John said that he was going to fight on the card after me. So the idea was I fight on the card, then the second show we do, Big John fights on the card. The third show we do, Jonathan then main events it. And that was in like potentially an MMA fight or something. That was what we were looking at doing. But obviously with everything that's going on at the moment, that's gone up in the air. But yeah, my son was going to fight on the same show as me. So that would have been twice we fought on the same show. Now it's been postponed potentially to September the 19th, whether or not it can go ahead then. And then hopefully I can get my daughter on the card, and then that's me done, retired, out. Not doing that, just training the guys, helping the guys get ready. I get more of a buzz watching the guys that I train with and train winning than ever did winning any competitions or anything like that. That myself, I don't really get much of a buzz. I get more of a buzz watching them win.
Well, I'm not crawling up your arse, mate, but I was surprised when I heard you had 2 kids, and then when I saw them, I was like, "How old are they?" Do you know what I mean? I thought I was honestly 3. I thought you were young. I honestly thought you were younger, to be fair, mate. That's why, because I saw obviously when you said, "Oh, my son's fine," I went, "How old's your son? Like 6?"
Yeah, so my son's 17, my daughter's 19, and my littlest daughter is 12. And she has fought as well, the littlest one. She's had about 6 or 7 interclub Muay Thai fights. So yeah, she's all right, but she's more of a princess. But she can fight. I was with her, and she just beats me up consistently.
I saw a video you put up a little while ago. It was 2013, and you had them all hitting pads in the gym. There was Dave and Chloe, and Chloe's like probably about 13 at the time, kicking the head out of pads, like throwing kicks like Bruce Lee. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was when they were really little. That was when we first went to Team Underground, I think, or we'd only been there a little while. I think David was 8 or 9. Chloe was probably 10. Yeah, and I think my littlest one was probably just even young, like a baby then. You know, so that was when we first went to Team Underground. When I was filming them, and even Jonathan in the video holding the pads for them looked super young. Like a little baby himself. He hadn't even had a pro fight then, I think he was about 16, 15, 16.
And it's amazing, like seeing how, obviously I'm sure you're a very proud father, you know, seeing how well your kids have done. You've got Chloe, who's been smashing it up in Cage Warriors Academy. You know, she's got a title now. You've got, obviously, David has won his last 2 fights as well, mate. So, mate, it's just looking great. And I'm trying to think, well, I know there's more people in your team. I'll come to that. But just with the kids, first of all, like, how proud as like a martial artist yourself, like, is to see how well your own bread and butter have done that?
Well, with Chloe, with Chloe, she was really young, and she got offered a scholarship in Thailand. So at 17, like it was a choice. She wanted to either go college or do this full time, and we sat down and she said, like, you know what, I'll push forward with this. You know, we can still do like the education side of it on the side, but So we decided at 17 that I was going to send her to Thailand. I knew a couple of people over there that were really nice fellas and that I know that would look after her. Nick Chapman, who's he lives in Pattaya at the moment in Thailand. I spoke to him directly, and he came round when he was still in England, and we had we had a sit down with Chloe and a meeting, and then we ended up sending her over there. So Chloe moved over to Thailand. I went out with her for 3 weeks, stayed at Nick Chapman's house. It was brilliant, swimming pool in the garden. Roommate was can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. It cut off there for a second. Yeah, you're back now. Sorry. So you were saying you were sitting in a nice garden and pool and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, it was lovely, and then I moved Chloe into a room at Fairtex. And if you've ever been to the Fairtex facility in Pattaya in Thailand, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Still to this day, one of the best gyms I've ever seen. And Chloe moved in, and she was Stamp's roommate. You know Stamp, who is the ONE FC champion.
Oh, yep. Sorry, yes.
Stamp. Yeah,
that's
Stamp
very cool.
From Fairtex. Yeah, she's she was the kickboxing champion. She's the Muay Thai champion at the moment. She's a beast. So Chloe and her were roommates for like 6 months, training with high level people. She was out there. She was training with Kat Zingano, Alistair Overeem. I'm not just name dropping, but there's some great fighters over there that they were training with. Some really good coaches. Bruno Carvalho was the head coach over there at the time, and he's a diamond fella and a really, really good coach. She stayed there, and then she came back for a couple of months and done some bits and bobs, some education stuff, and then she went back out to Thailand and stayed there again for 7 months. And really worked on, because she had always done BJJ with me, and her Muay Thai with Jonathan Haggerty, that was her thing. And then she went out there and she really worked at her wrestling. And that sort of aspect of it. And then when she came back, that's when she flew back on the Sunday. I think it was on the Sunday. And then as I was at the airport waiting for her, I got tagged in a post for Cage Warriors at the 52 kilo women's title fight was something had happened. I don't know. The main woman had pulled out. So then it would have been Chloe's second amateur fight, and they was in MMA. Obviously she's had like 60 odd Muay Thai fights, but I was ready to go. So as soon as as she walked through the airport with her bags, I hadn't seen her in 7 months. First thing I said to her, "You want to fight next week?" She didn't even look at me twice. She was like, "Let's do it." And I was like, "It's against." She said, "I don't care who it's against." I was like, "All right." So she's ready to go. So then she was fighting against a tough Norwegian girl who's much more experienced than her, and older, stronger, bigger. And we took the fight, and then Chloe went in and fought her and stopped her, and I think it was a minute and a half, just liver kicked her, punched her to death, and that was the end of it. And they give her the title, which was like an interim title, because the weight wasn't, because it was up in the air. There's like a 54 kilo title. So it wasn't the proper 52 kg title, I don't think. So then that's when she went and fought again for the 52 kg title against that undefeated Italian girl, and submitted her in the second round. So yeah, Chloe's good as gold at the moment. She's doing a little bit. She's working at the moment. She's she's a young girl, so she's getting things in her moving around in her life at the moment, trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. But she's got that to come back to. She's still working. Potentially she might be going out to America or Thailand again. As for the boy, he's just a savage, like when it comes to his training regime. He's just always that junior Muay Thai squad at Team Underground is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen a team. If I was a kid and I walked in and saw that team, I'd be frightened. Everyone in that team, I'm telling you, even my adult MMA team, if the juniors turn up to do some sparring, even they don't want to spar with the juniors. They are monsters. The caliber of the child fighters that are in that room, from 14 to 16, 17, 18. Oh my, it's frightening. You've got little Riley Top Boy Smith, Freddie Haggerty, which is Jonathan's brother, two monsters. Obviously you've got my son David. You've got who else?
Harry,
got that Connor. Sorry,
is Harry? How was Harry?
Oh, Harry's in my team. He don't want to spar with them kids. What, Harry Keane you're talking about? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, he
yeah.
does spar with them actually. He's about the same size as them, as much as I love him. But no, he's in the MMA squad. But I'm talking about the ones that John and Jonathan train. Even the young girls we got loads of little dinky girls, Madison, Stevie. They're so tiny and they're just amazing. Tallulah, all these little girls, they're incredible. Just watching, if you came down and watched them train on like a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday, it is hardcore. Like it's really, really tough kids. I get butterflies watching them. Just the talent. What John and Jonathan have done with them junior kids, and they're getting older now. And once they start coming into the adults, it's gonna take over. I really do believe that they've got some, and he's already done it with a lot of the juniors already. If you look at, say, my son and Chloe, who went from the juniors, they still do the junior class and that because that's where all their friends are. But going into the adults, we're bringing up some even littler ones now. There's little tiny ones. There's one kid we got. I think his name's Freddie. He's only 6 or 7. He's 18 kilo. 18 kilo. I've had bigger poos than that. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
he is incredible. Like if you see the way his technique and everything, he's unbelievable. Trying to get him a fight is on our last show. He won a little title. The belt was bigger than him. It was
weight more probably as well.
I'll send you a couple of videos of him doing. If you look on John's Facebook, you'll see him doing some pads in it. He's unbelievable. But with and then obviously I do like sparring sessions, and I bring the elder juniors in and spar with the adults, and that's where Harry and Will, and then they all sort of mix. I try and get them all to mix together and really build like a good little team between everyone, so everyone knows each other. Which is one thing about our gym that it's really family orientated.
Yeah, I can tell definitely it's family orientated from obviously when I've seen you guys at ECMMA. There's such a large amount of you always come and follow all your fighters, walk them out.
Yeah.
Giroux's always there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always see him at every event. Obviously, Will was
love Jay.
Jay's great. He's doing very well for himself. He's just collecting titles around the regional world at the moment. So
man.
I spoke to him. When did I speak to him? I spoke to him after I interviewed him after his contender fight. Actually, I think he was in Barcelona having a bit of a jolly up to all the boys. Yeah. So, yeah, mate, you've got, as I said, some massive names coming out there as well as your own kids. You've got Giroux and you guys in the higher levels, and then I said I've spoken to Will, I've spoken to Harry, I've spoken to your boy. And you can just see the level that's coming out of there, and their fights are very decisive as well when they're fighting. You can tell they're the new breed, as I like to call them. They're coming in.
We've got like the pro team. See, we've only got a few pro fighters at the moment because this is where when John gave me control, said like, look, just do what you can do with the MMA team, because we wasn't really pushing our adults out. We were really concentrating on the juniors for a while, and then like a couple of years ago, it was like, right, we're going to start pushing the adults out now. Now I'm strictly jiu-jitsu. That's what I mainly do, like jiu-jitsu competitions and so obviously we've got Jonathan as a striker. So we brought in Simona, who's a really good wrestling coach. She's fought in Invicta and stuff like that. So she's doing like the wrestling aspect of the team and the MMA as well. And we were mixing it all together. And with the pros, we got Jack Collins, Harry Keane, and Robert Collins. We've got Paul Ferrugia, who's an excellent fighter as well. But we've got about 5 or 6 pros who are just pushing out there now, and they're doing really, really well now. With the amateurs, the amateur team is what is we've been really tearing up the scene, like when UCMMA, Cage Warriors, ECMMA, and stuff like that. And I think within the next year we'll push out another 5 or 6 pros, really good pros. Obviously with the amateurs, Chanel Dyer, she just lost on Cage Warriors for the title, but she's a phenom. You must have seen her fight before. Chanel, she's obviously got Chanel, Chloe, Will Druitt. I think Will Druitt is one of the next big things in the country. With the right mindset and everything. He's incredible. Like at 70 kilo, I think he's going to fight at. He's an absolute beast.
As well for 70 kilo as well, isn't he?
Monster. He's an absolute monster. When he turns pro, when he decides to turn pro, it's going to be be scary. He's got it all. He's athletically gifted. He's mean. He hits hard. He's got excellent wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu, slick off his back, and his game. He's so tough. He's got so many good tools. I can't see any weaknesses in him at the moment, and he's only 19. And he's getting bigger and stronger. He's scary. Grappling with him now, he's like a tank. You just hold on to him, and he's like everything's just compact. He's a savage, and he's beat some really good people. He beat Yuki from Great Britain top team. Excellent fighter, really really good fighter. Tough fight. He beat him on Cage Warriors, and then Yuki just went and won the Cage Warriors title. After Will couldn't do the tournament, he injured his knee, and that Yuki is really good. He beat Connor, a kid from Combat Sports Academy, who's a really, really good fighter as well, on ECMMA, and that was a super tough fight. But Will was definitely one for the future. I think he's definitely going to go somewhere. I think once I encourage the fighters. I want them to go and train other places. I want them to go abroad and really get out there. I'd like Will to go over to America. Or to Thailand or something like that with Harry, his cousin. I'd like them to go over there and spend like 2 months there just training and honing their skills, where they've got no other they're not thinking about anything else apart from really, really training. And I think that that would really open their eyes. I think that's what happened with my kids and a lot of other fighters that I've seen. I know Jay's been abroad and stuff. When you go abroad and you train and you fight and you spar with other people from around the world, you can really see where levels are. Like, really, really, really see what levels are. Now, like you're saying, we have got a good team, but there are levels to this game, and there's some bad guys out there and bad ladies, and you really need to go out and train out other places and really see what's up, what you can do. And that's what I want to do with Will and Harry. I'd like to send them out and get them training abroad, send them to Thailand, Tiger Muay Thai, Fairtex, something like that, or in America, Alpha Male, one of them, American top team. Go over there and just train for a little bit, see how it is. That's the idea. I know Jay Shepherd's done it. A few of the other guys have done it. They go over to All Stars in Sweden, which is where my son just went as well with Jay. David and Jay and a couple of other guys went over there and they trained at All Stars. And my son come back and he went, "Dad, this is serious. Like, there's some bad guys, bad dudes over there, and I think that's what the problem is that anyone can be a fighter. You can come into a team and you can do really well until you've experienced it somewhere else and you've seen the real caliber of fighters out there in the world. You can sit in your own little gym and think you're really good until you're in that environment. Yeah. When I went to Thailand and I trained over in Fairtex and they had all these black belts and all these BJJs, and I thought, I'm not bad at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm not the best, but I'm not bad. I think I have a good understanding of the game. Man, some of them guys whooped me, and I've never been whooped like that in my life. The head coach over there, who was there, or the manager, Jason, his name was, an American guy. He toyed with me like it's like a lion playing with its dinner. It was, I was more upset. But I enjoyed it. I love that sort of thing. I love that. So that's why I always believe that you should always travel around. You should always see. You can have your home gym. Loyalty is very important. You be loyal to your team. Be loyal to where you came from, like a lot of fighters are. But then go off and train, because I can't give you the best training. This person can't give you the best training. You need to go and figure out for yourself, where you're going to get the best training, and that's what I try and do with a lot of the fighters. I actively encourage them to do that. I mean, if they don't come back and they want to leave me, then that's their issue. Then obviously they wasn't part of the team in the first place. There's not much I can do about that, is there? Do you know what I mean? But
exactly.
If you go out and you experience it and then come back to me and then you show me the skills. I'm quite young to this as well. I've been only doing it 11 years. It's not as much as some of these great coaches out there, like my coach John. He's been in the game for 20 odd years. So, there's always something you can learn. So I always believe that that's the best things that fighters can do. But we have got some great youngsters coming through. We got another guy, Amir. Have you seen Amir? He fought on Cage Warriors as well.
What's his surname?
Amir Alifi.
Well,
he's hard. You have a look.
I'll check it out though. I'll check it out.
Yeah, he's fought three times. He's fought on the UCMMA. ECMMA and Cage Warriors, and he's won all three by submission. And he hasn't fought like no weak people. He's fought like high level people like in his first three fights. And man, first fight we won. He pulled guard in the first fight and won by armbar. I don't encourage pulling guard in MMA, but he pulled guard, won by an armbar. Absolute incredible. Second fight, pulled off a move that I taught him, like from the scarf, like a scarf. It was horrible what he done. Nearly broke the guy's arm. And in his third fight, he done an inverted triangle on Cage Warriors. He's a beast. And he's only 21, I think. Oh, it's just look out for him, Amir Alifi. He's gonna be something special if he carries on. He's got really good mindset and understanding of MMA, and he loves it as well. I send him out to All Stars. He went to All Stars with Jay. He's just an absolute beast, and such a lovely fella. Him and Will Druitt and Harry and all these really tough fighters. They're so nice. Like you.
Yeah, man.
I mean, when I was coming up in the MMA guys, and I used to go to the MMA shows, they used to scare me. These MMA fighters, all the old school ones. Oh, everything's so aggressive, but these new guys, these new ones, they're just like they're really nice, humble, and then they get in there and they just decimate everyone. It's frightening. But yeah, we've got some other ones. I mean, did you want to ask me other questions, or
no, you carry on, man.
Waffling?
You carry on.
Another good one. We got Jack Clark. Have you seen Jack Clark?
Yeah. I know Jack Clark, yeah.
Mate, Jack Clark, that guy, he's been training with me. He was training with me in jiu-jitsu for like 7 years, 7 years. He's a blue belt, but he's not a blue belt. He's higher level than that. He just don't like putting the gi on. I've told him he needs to put the gi on because you need to, you won't be a fighter your whole life, but you'll always be a martial artist. So just get that gi, get your black belt. He's a Peckham boy. He's like, oh, no, I don't like the gi. It's not realistic. I don't like this. But I'm going to force him into it at some point. But he's got his gi. He's got his blue belt. He's pretty good. But he's phenomenal. Like at 61 kilo, he was supposed to fight for the 61 kg title. And the last Cage Warriors, but on the Sunday before the show, he was hitting pads, mucking it. At the end of the class was done, and one of the coaches was holding the pads, and he started kicking the pads. He was mucking around. They were having a chat. It wasn't even a drill. And as he kicked the pad, he come back and he completely tore his ligaments in his ankle. Just come back on his leg. It was he was devastated. I've never seen it. He's a tough guy, Jack. You can tell he's got he's a tough guy. He's a Peckham boy. He's tough. And he was upset like I've never seen him upset. It was devastating for him. And he had trained so hard for that. And he literally, the Sunday was his last real hard training session before he was cutting the weight and just mixing up. And it was just so random. And then, and then someone else William Timmis stepped in and won the title, who Jack had beat previous on Cage Warriors. So Jack's up in arms at the moment. We don't really know what we're going to do, with what Jack's going to do. Potentially, whether or not he steps back in and fights again on Cage Warriors and maybe wants to go for the title or go pro. If he goes pro, I'll be wanting to send him abroad again, and he's going to need to, go abroad and train with some of them bad guys and see how he gets on and see how he feels and stuff, and experience like a different life when you've got that. Like I said again, training all the time, morning, afternoon, night, eating and sleeping with the whole team and really, really getting an experience like that. And then, that's where you can really look at it and go, you know what, I'm cut out for this or I'm not. But Jack is a bad guy. He's a monster. He could go far. He's another one.
And the good thing at that age is with them lot is that a lot of people, when they hit 18, just want to go out drinking and partying and boozing and go to bed and stuff. But these boys just seem to have their heads properly screwed on. I know a lot of them have got girlfriends, which is great. Do you know what I mean? They've obviously done that, but they're not interested in going and getting off their nut every weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Obviously, everyone still does it, goes crazy and stuff like that. I mean, we have some wild parties, and I'm going to tell you some weird, crazy stories about Team Underground. I spoke to John, the big coach, and he said, "Yeah, if you want to tell any silly stories, you can go and tell some silly stories because we have a crazy gym." Yeah, we do the crazy parties and stuff like that. We've had some amazing after ECMMA and that. Harry Keane, we go back to his house. He has a really big house. His dad and that are amazing hosts. He puts all pizzas on. They have a big garden and jacuzzi and everything. Everyone just gets absolutely wankered until his nans come out and start whooping us. Get out of the house, causing absolute mayhem. It's normally the youngsters like Chanel and David that are just smashing the place up, and then the nans have to come. Harry's and Will's nans have to come out and beat them all up. But yeah, we have some crazy times. We have a really good, like the whole team has a good rapport. We have good parties and that. But they don't. They normally, everything is there's a sole purpose on the goal on the show or the fight coming up. They'll have a blowout for. Harry and Will are really good at that, and all the guys they have a blowout for a couple of weeks, and then bosh, they're straight back to it. They're straight back to it. They never stop training, and none of them stop training. I think Will and Harry fought on the Saturday on ECMMA, and then they came to the open mat sparring on the Sunday. It's ridiculous. Chanel fought on Cage Warriors on Saturday, lost. That was devastated. On Sunday, she was at open mat. She was sparring, working on what she was what went wrong in that fight. Incredible. When you've got that sort of mindset, how'd you beat that?
You don't. That is what it is. It's self-belief, mate. There's nothing more than I love when someone just believes in themselves that much. You know what I mean? And you don't have to be arrogant to believe in yourself that much as well. You can really show it. And to said, I've spoken to a lot of your team members at Team Underground, mate, and mate, it's just I can't wait to see what comes out of there, mate. You're going to be the gym that people are going to want to go to in the UK. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So.
At the moment, I know that obviously we're not allowed out, we're not allowed to do anything. But John's obviously, he's at the gym. They're not doing any classes or anything. But I know that he's renovating it at the moment. He's got nothing else to do, so he's just ordered some bits in, and he's painting and doing stuff at the moment. So I think another surprise once this all comes and everyone comes back to the gym, there's going to be a lot of new stuff happening in the gym, making it bigger, making it better. It's just more classes. The squad we got and the coaching team of the team of Team Underground, I really, really believe is really, really good. From all aspects, the boxing, even the white collar boxing, run by Scott and Mide and Tomo, they're just amazing at what they do. The Muay Thai run by Johnny Boone and Danny, really, really good. The MMA squad, but obviously John and Jonathan are the main guys, and John's wife who literally runs it like a business. She tells everyone off and everyone their memberships and all that sort of stuff. It's run really, really good, but man, it's crazy in there. Crazy.
What I'd like to, I know you're definitely right. What I've always wanted to know about, obviously yourself, Steve, after finding out that your kids weren't like 5 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a BJJ guy. So before the kids were born, all that sort of stuff, mate, what initially got you into martial arts, mate? Like your backstory sort of thing. Like what made you want to go and do jiu-jitsu, I'm assuming, initially, or what was it?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was younger, I always used to do, like everyone does, like some sort of martial art. I've done karate, I've done kung fu, taekwondo, all of that. I didn't really like it. And I always used to watch UFC. I mean, a funny story with me is that probably when I was about 22, 23, I was probably in that age where, I was getting on it. Kids were born, but I was going wild. One of my friends told me to go to Elite, which was in Elephant Castle in Haygate, which was Dave O'Donnell's actual gym. And that's where John was. And there was a load of good fighters from what I heard about that came from Elite, Brad Pickett, all them sort of ones. And I went there, if I can remember rightly, I went there and I peered through, and there was just all these crazy guys just in like mats. And I was like, nah, forget that. I went down the pub. I weren't going in there. I mean, it would have been weird. You never know what would have happened if I'd gone in there and actually trained with the guys. But I was like, nah, I'm not interested in this. And then a little while later, I started doing jiu-jitsu. I went and trained at a couple of gyms. I was doing jiu-jitsu for a little bit. Then I took the kids to Guns MMA, which was in Dulwich, run by Tommy Gunn. That was one of the first proper gyms that I went to with the kids. And I'd already trained a little bit before doing jiu-jitsu at other previous gyms in East London and stuff. And I went there, and we just stayed there for a year and a couple of years. I think we was there for a year and a half. But I think it ended up closing down and something went wrong. I don't really know. But then I didn't realise that Team Underground, because John didn't have a website or anything, was round the corner from where we lived. So we ended up going to Team Underground, just me and the two kids. And never left. But the moment I walked in and I met John, I knew straight away this is the place to be. Just, you know, his the way he was around the kids and the way he was around like all the fighters and stuff. And he's just a funny guy. He's an absolute lunatic, but he's just a funny guy. And you know, you get the big brother feel. Everyone that speaks to him gets big brother feel with him. And yeah, I've just never left. And we've been at Team Underground for what, I think it's about 8 years now, 9 years. Yeah, it's got to be Bull Clubby. Yeah, so about 9 years. So that was really, and then obviously once I was there, they had jiu-jitsu coaches and everything, but one of the jiu-jitsu coaches was really good. He moved off and went to America, and there was no one to teach the classes. And I was probably one of the most experienced in the jiu-jitsu side of it at that point. And John was like, "Do you just want to take the classes for the moment, like until we sort something out?" And I was like, yeah, no worries, mate. You know, I didn't feel like I was that confident enough to really teach classes, but the guys that were coming in, it was mostly beginners and stuff, so it was fine. Now they're beginners are all the guys that I just talked about on Cage Warriors. So you know, so now we're just like the Jack Clarks and stuff like that. And now, you know, we've got some really, really, and that really, really good guys, and that's where it just come from. And then from there, while I was training, these guys were getting really good, but I didn't feel that I was leveling up because obviously where I was teaching, my level wasn't. They were catching, and I wasn't going up. So that's when I went to Wave BJJ, run by Lorenzo in Chiswick. But he's got classes in Elephant Castle, and I joined obviously his first student. So I turned up to the class. Me and Kim, one of the girls from the gym, she's badass. We went there, and it was just me, Kim, Lorenzo, and we just done a class with him like a private. And I knew straight away. Well, when he asked me to go for a beer straight after the class, I was like, "This is the place for me." Do you know what I
mean? He won you over, mate, with that pint.
Yeah, he won me over. He was really, really cool. Like, and then I started obviously, and that's when I started the gi as well. So that was about 5 or 6 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago, I started the gi. Obviously, I went in there as a white belt, and you know, I was fighting up, whooping people, being a white belt, but I'd had like 5 years experience in no gi. Once you get used to a bit of the grips, it's really hard, but once you get used to it at first, it's all right. And then, so I got graded quite quickly to purple. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm training, and now I teach classes for Wave and I teach classes for Team Underground, and sometimes I go to other clubs as well if they need me to show anything. But my main forte is jiu-jitsu. I just like jiu-jitsu. That's what I'll probably be doing. Once I get a good thing with the team and I've started to build, like I've got captains in my team and stuff like that in my MMA team, and they can start taking people. I'll start doing more jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff. That's what I'd prefer to do. I'd like to go and do the Europeans and things like that.
That quality. And you can tell you're definitely teaching these young kids jiu-jitsu. Just look at their win records, you know, how they're winning, their method of victory and stuff like that. So,
I know, which is mad coming from our gym, considering that our gym's mainly a real good striking gym, considering it's Jonathan Haggerty's gym, and he was a 1FC champion, and he's just a bad kid, you know. He's got bad intentions in them hands, you know. And but he's going to be starting to teach hopefully my MMA team the striking aspect, because it's a little bit of a mix-up at the moment who's doing what class and stuff. Everything's great running, but there's little bits, you know, there's classes that are going to fit in. And once Jonathan starts teaching my MMA guys how to the striking techniques and stuff, oh god, with Simona's wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, I think we've got some really good things coming through. You know.
Yeah, man. Definitely, and you'll probably see more submissions, because once they've thrown a few strikes after learning from him as well, they're not going to want to stand. So they're going to take your guys down, or you know what your guys are like. They just pull guard, mate. You know, they're all right.
Yeah, that's it. It's mad. But I took a lot of the beginners to a jiu-jitsu competition, and all the beginners, bless them, they didn't do that great in the jiu-jitsu comp, and they was like, how, you know. But I encourage people to do competitions as much as possible, even if you've only trained for 2 months. Just go and experience it.
Get out your comfort zone.
Yeah, just go and do it. And you know, you can see these guys, like, you know, I send a couple of guys in, they go to a competition, they've been training for 2 months, and they fight against a guy that's a white belt, and somehow he's been in a no-gi competition, he's been doing no-gi for 4 years. And you're like, you're not a white belt, mate. You know, there's no way you should be training for 4 years and be doing a white belt competition. But, you know, and then they beat my guy that's been doing it for 2 months, just about on points, and they're like, yeah, I'm the champ. I'm like, okay, no problem. Do you know? things are
Exactly.
different.
It still took him to points, though, didn't it? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you're that good, you'll be finishing within a minute or two.
Well, you shouldn't really be in that competition. I mean, to be honest,
Right.
that's what happened to me as well. Though Lorenzo put me into competitions in white belt in the gi, and you know, I won most of them, well, all of them, I think. And I don't know, I just felt a little bit, you know, doing the. But when you got to blue belt and purple belt, oh God, there's some monsters there. There's some absolute monsters, blue and purple, and then the brown and
Where you
black.
where, where are you up to now in your BJJ career now, then, mate? Like, what belt are you up
Purple.
to?
I'm purple. I'm purple at the moment. So
Nice.
I've been purple about a year and a half,
Is that in
2 years
the gi?
nearly.
Yeah.
In the gi, yeah, in the gi. I've been purple about a year and a half. I don't know. I mean, it's different. You know, some people like the gi, some people don't. I think it's so. Uh, oh,
You're back.
yeah. Did it break
so
up?
so yeah. So what I get from you then is I do like the gi, but
Okay. I do like the but like I said, I think that you know you'll only be a fighter for a certain amount of time, but you'll be a martial artist for your life. So you should have the gi and something to look back on. And you know, to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu is so hard. You know, to really get to that level, you have to be a legit black belt to be a black belt. You know, you can't. You know, you can be black belts in karate or taekwondo and stuff like that when you're 12 years old, which means nothing to me. It's like getting a toy with your Happy Meal. You know, I don't understand it. Um, I don't know how you can be a black belt. A black belt is someone that's been in the game a long time, you know, experienced everything and seen everything, and someone you look up to. You know, it's hard for me to look up to a 12-year-old black belt in karate. Do you know what I mean? Who hasn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
done it, if that makes sense. Um, so, but I do believe that everyone should do the gi. If you're doing MMA, you should do the gi just for, you know, to get to that belt. Because eventually you should be teaching, you should be looking at the long future. Yes, you can be your career, your fighting career should be there, but you should also be looking at some point you're going to be teaching. Now, you know, you can teach as a like a no-gi, really good no-gi guy, you know, winning world championships and stuff like that. But to have a black belt, I think it's important. You know, I think it looks good. Um, it shows that you've done a lot of training, and also it's different. There's different sides of it. You can teach the no-gi and you can teach the gi, which is really really good. I mean, everyone each to their own, but that was my way of looking at it anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense, mate, completely. And what I'd be interested to get your thoughts on, seeing as you've got into the, what I say you're teaching a lot of MMA guys now, is there's a lot of the old saying where they're a white belt in jiu-jitsu, but they're a black belt in MMA jiu-jitsu. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what's your thoughts on that saying?
Right. So, um, you can be a black belt until you fight a wrestler that punches you in the face on the floor. It can change it immediately. So my way of doing jiu-jitsu for MMA and my way of doing jiu-jitsu for BJJ competitions is completely different. We teach different aspects of it. The jiu-jitsu for MMA, when we do classes for that, it's a lot of like top pressure, holding, keeping position, escaping. When we do it for jiu-jitsu, there's submissions and it's flowing and everything's going. But for MMA, um, you know, you want to be you don't want to be on the back. That's why I nearly killed Amir when he pulled guard. Like if you lost the video on YouTube, he pulls guard in his first fight. I could jumped over that cage and got him, but luckily he got an armbar. But yeah, so none of that. You don't want to really be on your back in MMA because you're losing from majority of the fight. That's you. As soon as you're on your back, you're losing. You can be held there. I've seen people do it. You get held on your back and beaten up. But yeah, I mean, you can be really good at. I mean, my coach John is an MMA guy. I mean, I grapple with him. Well, the boss guy John, and when I grapple with him, his way of jujitsu is so different because even when we're doing no gi jujitsu, he's still punching me, no bare fists, and I'm like, John, we're just doing jujitsu, and he's like, nah, it's not jujitsu. This is MMA jiu-jitsu, bang, bang, and all of a sudden my nose is bleeding. I'm like, John, you ain't even got any gloves on, you know what I mean? He waits until he's bust me nose and then tells me, oh, just a pair of gloves. So I'm like, oh, cheers, mate.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
brilliant.
mean?
Thanks for that.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate. So and in that, I make the mistake of pulling guard. So then he does punch me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh god, I thought we were doing jiu-jitsu. But yeah, there is different. We have different rules and different ways of doing stuff when it comes to teaching the MMA guys and teaching the BJJ guys. But I always encourage them. They should know, if you're in MMA, you should know not to pull guard. You know, especially as the levels go up and stuff like that. Unless you're like, you know, a Gordon Ryan standard or one of them sort of high level super grapplers where you're so good off your back. At the beginning, you don't want to be on your back getting punched by one of these guys. I mean, I'd love it if someone pulled guard against Will Jurek. Jesus Christ, it'd eat him alive. You know what I mean? You know, even with me, like I pulled guard in jiu-jitsu, playing with Will or one of the guys like that. Or even Robert Collins, say for instance, he's another good fighter, fought in UCMMA. You pull guard with one of them in jiu-jitsu, it's fine. I can submit them. I'll do this. I'll play a bat. If there was punching involved, I wouldn't. No way. You must be mad. Them guys hit like tanks. They'll just rain them over the top. There's nothing you can. You have to get out of there. So we have a really good guard game. We understand if you do get put on your back, you know, how to get up and how to defend the strikes and things. And we work a lot extensively at them specific things, you know, sweeping and, you know, we don't, my way of in jiu-jitsu is we're not on our back. We've got to get up. That's the idea.
Yeah, man, that's the way to do it. And I love how you can go from doing jiu-jitsu to MMA jiu-jitsu style as well. You can just transition over, which must be said. It must be great to be able to do both as well. And obviously, you've had your opportunity in the cage as well. You've done MMA and submitted people as well. You know, in a couple of fights that you've had. You know.
Yeah, they're. I'll walk around the room. See, I'm another one that I'm always watching. So whenever the sparring sessions are happening, I'm always watching. Now, if I'm walking around and we've got you know, sparring going on, and we have like a couple of the jiu-jitsu guys do the MMA classes as well, and they're on their back and they're trying to work submissions and they're getting punched out. I won't say too much, but if I walk around and I see one of my MMA guys on their back and they're just, you know, working submissions and that, and I've looked at it and they've been on their back for them, and I'm screaming at them, get your fucking ass up. You know, I don't want you sitting there doing that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they say, oh, well, you know, I'm playing a little bit. Yeah, I know, but you're losing the fight now. We need to get up. You've played for 2 minutes and you've not done anything. Get up, you know, and then it will be working them to get up and stuff like that. So, you know, the boys know, you know, they get told. They get told if they're doing things wrong or if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I don't mind experimenting, but you've got to be careful with some aspects of it.
Yeah, man. You've definitely got them, as I said, in a family orientated place, but in quite a militant sort of like regime you've got going there as well, which is great, and it definitely shows in the results you're getting from your fighters and the attitudes they're bringing forward as well, mate. And I absolutely recommend anyone out there listening to this now, please check out Team Underground, mate, completely, because obviously, as you can hear now, I can tell everyone, but you've heard it from the man himself, you know.
Did you want to hear some of the crazy stories?
Go on then.
Well, what do you want to hear? Well, my birthday. What happened on my birthday? So my birthday this year, I think it was this year or last year that I turned up to the gym. John, the head coach, is anyone you speak to, you're going to have to meet him probably. He's an absolute Fruit Loop. I love him. And he's always got something going on. There's always something going on with that man. He's always got a little trick up his sleeve. And it's always to do with, you know, winding someone up. He'll always do something. So you'll walk in, there's be something going on. Just going back from my birthday, I walked in the gym a couple of weeks ago, and I walked in and there was this like knuckle duster sitting on the side. Like there's an old battered one, like probably, you know, he found somewhere on the street or something, a knuckle duster. So automatically, as soon as I see a knuckle duster, I'm like, oh, let's have a look at that. So I picked it up and he's like, yeah, come try it on. I found it. It's a knuckle duster, really good. So I try this knuckle duster on. I put it on. I'm like, oh, this is solid. And he's like, John's like, yeah, mate, really, really good. He comes around, he gets a set of pads out, and he's like, come on, hit the pads with a knuckle duster. I'm like, okay, he's never like this. I'm like, all right. So we're there, and I'm hitting the pads, and he's like, come on, proper dig it. So I'm whacking. I'm knackered now. I've just walked in the gym. I'm knackered. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And he's like, yeah, mate, really good, isn't they? And then he walks back round, and then I sit down, go to take the knuckle duster off. No, he's put industrial glue in the knuckle duster. So now this knuckle duster is stuck to my hand. Yeah, I can't pull this knuckle duster off. It's tearing the skin and the hair off my fingers. like it's like this, and he's laughing, and he's filming me, he's laughing at me, and my fingers. I'm like, John, this ain't funny. I'm having to put like, I don't know, very liquid in it and pulling skin off. That's just like a random thing that he would do. He'd just do random weird things like that. On my birthday, he
I can just quickly, I can imagine you having not be able to get it off and walking down the road home with it. The old Bill stopping you for having a deadly weapon on you. And all
there
that.
you go. Do you know what I mean? I mean, as soon as I got it off, he just threw it in the bin. It was some old thing. I think he'd found it in like, in the skip outside or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just some old battered thing. Awful. But why I put it on, I don't know. But it's because he encouraged me. Like, he's like, yeah, mate, it's really good. Then on my birthday, I turned up. I always knew John's going to do something. They normally rush me or beat me up. All the MMA fighters, like all the coaches, and Mill, Smith, and Scott, and all them, they all come running down and start kicking me. But I knew he had a different plans for me. I turned up for my birthday, and they had a massive cake. I mean, a huge cake. And he said, at the end of the class, I taught the class. He come downstairs with this huge cake, and he said to me, "If you don't eat this full cake, yeah, we're going to strip you naked and we're going to throw you out the front door."
Brilliant.
I was like, I don't even like cake. I'm a savoury man, yeah? I was like, I don't like cake. I'm not going to eat this. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get naked and we're going to have it. Yeah? And he was like, no, you've got to do something. You've got to do something. So instead, what he decided to do was bring down they've got snakes in the gym, live, like real snakes. Yeah, like corn snakes and stuff. They brought down like a box of live crickets. And they said to me, if you eat a few of these live crickets, I'll let you off. And I was like, that's only a cricket. What's that big? Do you know what I mean? No, this cricket, it was about that big. And he said, you better eat this. And they're holding my mouth open, all of these MMA fighters, and they pinned me down. This is in the gym. There's people working out, and they're dropping crickets into my mouth, live crickets. And then at the end of it, because it wasn't enough for John, he just starts smacking people with the cake. He picks up the cake, starts launching it. There's cake everywhere. There's the bucket of crickets gets knocked over. There's crickets flying. There's cakes. There's people running out of that place with like cream everywhere and crickets hanging off them. This is on a Tuesday night. Do you know, on my birthday? Just absolutely outrageous. Just some of the crazy things that goes on in that gym.
Quality, mate.
Just on a Tuesday.
Imagine people walking out of there and the old Bill will be like, is that a rave in there or a gym? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what's going on in there. There's some other stories that you'll have to come down and we'll talk about that, not on air. Do you know, some other crazy things that have happened. But it's a really good laugh, though. Everyone has each other's back. We all have a good little team and good laugh and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, I definitely want to get down to a gym at some point. It'd be great to come up there and spend the day with you, like have a chat to some of the fighters up there as well. See how they're training as well, mate. That'd be touch, mate. Yeah, obviously we're a bit stuck indoors at the moment, mate. So that is what it is. If you come down and see like a sparring session on a Thursday, when you look around the room and you see like some of these guys sparring with each other, you see on the circuit, you see on the scene, but you see like, say for instance, like Jonathan Haggerty sparring with Will Druitt. Like, people would pay to watch that going on. Do you know what I mean? Jay Shepherd sparring with Ricky Moore or with Robert Collins or myself and things like that. And, Harry Keane sparring with my son David, or Chloe sparring with Chanel, or sparring with, there's some of the sparring sessions you watch, and they're not brutal or anything like that, but these are some sparring sessions that people would pay to watch some of these fights. There's some amazing sparring sessions, amazing fighters. It's really, really good to watch. I love it. When I'm watching the guys at the end of the sparring session, it feels like I'm at a show, because I get to pick and choose. So I look around the room and I go, oh, Jack Clark, go with Harry Keane, and I'm like, yes, this is gonna be a good one. I sit down with my bottle of Lucozade and I'm watching them beat each other up, and then I go, oh, next one, Jay Shepherd, go with David, and watch them, and then because they're such good friends, Jay and David, Jay just lets David smash him to pieces, and then it's brilliant. It's brilliant watching them spar, and then everyone sitting around at the end and having a chin wag, and that maybe a cricket bounce pass. Yeah, I was going to say a bit cricket and cake, mate. That's what you get when you go to T1. As we go to Underground, mate, you get crickets and cake, mate. That's it, mate. You got your protein, and there's your savoury, mate. That's why you got you a cricket.
Well, I vape, so I don't smoke. I vape, right? The head coach, John, he will come downstairs, and he's done this quite a lot. I'm going to probably put it on my Instagram a little bit later, because he sent me the video. He goes into my bag, takes my vape out, and then sticks it up his arse. Right?
Oh, mate.
And then
What,
he'll wait for me to come
bare ass,
upstairs.
yeah?
Yeah, up his bare bum. Yeah. And then he'll wait for me to come upstairs, and he'll know that I'm vaping, and I'm vaping his ass. So then I have to. The amount of times I had to change his top, unbelievable. I change it every time I go to the gym, just in case. He might not even be there. Him and Scott and all the other coaches there, they do it all the time. They're filth. That's what I'm saying. There's crazy things going on, but I love it. I wouldn't change it. Do you know
That's
what I
it,
mean?
mate. Social distancing and Team Underground, mate. They're sharing
No, it don't
everything down
work. Yeah, we're sharing everything. Yeah, nice. You know. There's always, that's what I'm saying. There's always crazy things going on. There's always something mad going on in that place, you know.
there,
Always. If
mate.
Jonathan isn't walking past and elbowing me or trying to dry hump me or do something ridiculous, you know, it's always good things, you know. I love it. I
I'm
love it.
gonna
I
be on
wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm gonna be on my guard, mate, when I come up there for sure. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely. We
It's
can have a
nice,
lot of fun.
it's nice, mate. As you said, it's like a family house, isn't it, mate? Everyone's in
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's always just pranks and stuff like that. I mean, you know, we try. One thing I try to do with the team is the ego. I don't like the ego.
No.
You know, the ego thing with the MMA. You know, you don't need to be like that. You don't need. Oh, I'm a fighter. I'm an MMA fighter. You don't need to be like that. You know, just nice and easy. I try to say leave your ego at the door. You can be humbled. If you come in and you're really, really super good or really aggressive, there's always someone better than you. You know, there's always someone better than you. And I'll find that person to give you an hiding. Do you know what I mean? And that's the idea. So, you know, we try and luckily we don't really get any of that issues. You know, even the mean guys, all the mean monsters, they love each other. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, they're like little children with each other. You know, just running around. There's no real crazy competition within the gym. There's always healthy competition, and I encourage healthy competition. I think you should always in jiu-jitsu and everything, always look around the room and set your sights on someone. Think, you know what, I need to beat this guy. That's the guy that I need to beat. You know, but not have a vindictive way against them. Do you know what I mean? Just I need to. If I can beat this guy, then I know my level stepped up. And so I think that with the MMA team and with the jiu-jitsu team, that's what they do. They're always picking and choosing each other, looking around the room. If I can submit that guy, I'm going to move on and then submit that guy. And that's my levels. That's how I'm going to get better. You know, that's just one way of looking at things.
That's it. You can't keep training. As you said earlier, you get out your comfort zone, go abroad, take on different people. Everyone has their own goal. You've got to get there.
Tell the other guy. I'll speak to one of the guys. I'll speak to for instance, Harry Keane or something. I'll say, Harry, who do you need to submit? And he'll point someone out. He go, yeah, I think I need to beat Amir. Like Amir's really, really good. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. So I'll go over to Amir and I'll say, Amir, Harry said he's going to kick your ass. And they say, what? But they know I'm winding them up. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. So I'm always like, you know, I try and make everything fun. But I'll say that in front of everyone. I'll say like, oh yeah, Harry, let's go with Amir. Harry said he's going to kick your ass in front of everyone. Do you know what I mean? And they, you know, try and get everything bubbling and everyone having a laugh. And that's what we do. You know, that's what I try and do anyway. I try and make everything fun. As long as everything's fun and they're but super serious. When it comes to the camps and they're getting ready for fights, they're getting they know when stuff is serious. They'll know. But most of the time when training, we still need to have fun. If you don't have fun, then what's the point in doing it?
That's it. You got to have that balance, haven't you? You got to have that balance completely, and otherwise they're not going to want to do it. So, no, fair play to you. Like you see at these gyms down in Brazil. Like I was watching years ago a documentary on like Shogun and all them sort of people, and Vanderlei Silva, and they used to knock each other out in sparring in the gym. Like they'd actually have a full-on fight. You know, MMA gloves, and the loser is whoever loses gets knocked out or submitted. Simple. I was like, what's wrong with you? You're nuts. You know.
Well, that medieval way of sparring is gone now. You don't need to spar like that. No. Listen, during the camp, you do need some hard sparring. Don't get me wrong. You need to experience it. And I think when you're getting into it, I get a lot of people that come into the gym and they go, oh, I'm going to be an MMA fighter. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I've had loads of street fights and I've done this. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but have you ever been hit? Like, really? Yeah, I've been hit in the pub. I'm like, oh. It's a little bit different when you're standing in front of someone, you know, who's really good and you can't do anything to beat them. You know, and they're like, no, I'll be all right. And then them guys normally never come back after they've sparred. You know, they really, really see what real fighting is about. It's not some drunk guy hitting you in the pub. It's, you know, you've had one spar and you think you've done well, and then all of a sudden I say change, and then you've got the next person and change, and then you've got the next person, and you're standing in front of them, and you're like, yeah, this ain't for me. You know, this ain't for me. You can't be there. When you're sparring one person like Luke, like Jay Shepherd, Will Drewitt, Harry Keane, Jack Clark, David, all these guys, one after another. It's hard work, and like most gyms, doesn't matter what gyms you're at. There's always, if you go to Great Britain Top Team or BKK or whatever, there's always all these bad guys that are lining up, and these people that are coming off the street and think that they can do it, and then end up getting in an environment where they end up not doing it.
Yeah, mate, and it's good though, because it's when those sort of people think they can do it and they find out they can't. It takes the whole way of MMA street fighting and all that sort of stuff. It makes it more professional, because obviously the street fighters don't last 5 minutes, and that's the way it is, isn't
I get it all the time. If I go out to the pub and people say it, and even with my friends, as much as I love them to death, my normal friends that are outside of the gym. If we're in a conversation and we've had a few beers and there's another friend, my friends will always say, "Oh, this is Steve. Yeah, he's a fighter." And I hate people that say that, because immediately I'm like, that puts me on edge. Because as soon as you say that, there's always someone in the pub that thinks they want to fight. And I'm like, don't say that to people. I'm not involved in that sort of stuff, because, and then someone will come over and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm a street fighter mainly. That's what I do. I'm more of a street fighter." I'm like, "Oh, what's that? What does that mean? I'm a street fighter." Does that mean that you bite?
When I was a kid, Street Fighter was a quality Super Nintendo game, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not that. They were martial artists, though.
Street Fighter means. Does that mean you're dirty? Like you bite and you pull hair and
they think they're Kimbo. Maybe it's like all the Kimbo Slice Rest is sold out of that era. Do you know what I mean?
don't really understand that, because if that's what it's aimed at, because that's what I said to the guy. I was like, "Yeah, I'll bite you, or I'll pull your hair, I'll pinch you, I'll pull your eyeball out." So I can do all of that as well, but with jiu-jitsu and with wrestling. So how does that give you any like,
Yeah, could you imagine walking out a pub and there's some geezer on the floor and got some guy in a triangle? You'd be like, "This is different." Like, you know what I mean? You'd be like, "What the fuck is all this about?"
I've seen it many a time.
Or a head kick gets thrown outside a pub or a nightclub. You're like, "What's going on?" Head kicks.
It's all the different martial arts. Sometimes you meet different martial artists as well, and I've met loads of different people, Krav Maga guys, and Wing Chun guys, and they always say, "No, jiu-jitsu wouldn't work," and I'll just grab your nuts and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, if I got you in a rear naked choke and you grab my nuts, I'm gonna get the ump, and I'm gonna squeeze tighter. Do you know what I mean? I put a couple of people asleep in pubs, like mucking around and not hurting them, like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? Because they don't know to tapping out and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh." It's there's some strange people out there. The Street Fighter ones are the best ones, though. They'll always get you in the nightclub. I'm a Street Fighter.
Thing is, though, mate, nowadays it's best to stay away, mate, because they're all tooled up now and everything, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. If that's what they mean, they're a Street Fighter, they got a tool, then that's a little bit different, Okay, well, you like to hit people with weapons and stuff like that. That's fair enough. It's not really manly, in my opinion, but, it is what it is. I tend not to, and that's what I tell you with most of my fighters and most of the guys and the kids and stuff like that. Stay away from that. There's always some wally out there that's going to try and stick something in you and things like that. I'm not interested.
Anyone's arm, they've got a knife or a gun pointing in your face, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's something that our gym encourages on the door. It says that join a team and not a gang and things like that. We try and bring all the kids in. We don't want any of that sort of rubbish. We've took a lot of kids off the streets and give them like something to really concentrate on, and that's what we try and build. Like a family gym.
Yeah, man, you're right. Because this day and age, you have to.
Yeah, we've got loads of kids and that have been with us for ages, like really little young ones that have been amazing fighters. Like that now are amazing fighters, but they were little Herberts on the street getting told off, banned from shops and stuff. We've got one kid called Connor. His nickname's Chucky because he looks like the doll. That kid I
was wondering.
Yeah. You'll see him on the ECMMA. He wants to fight on the ECMMA. He's David's like main training partner, and he's been about as long as David has. He's 19. He's a savage. He's another one that's in that kids class. He does the junior class, we call it, because they're like certain age. But he's a monster. And he was a little Herbert when he was like 9, 10. He was banned from all the shops for shoplifting, and he was doing all this dodgy stuff. And he was only little, running around. His mum couldn't control him, bless her. And his mum's really nice. He's just a little Herbert. And John took him off the street and was like, "Nope, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna train and that." And now he's like 5-time British Muay Thai champion. He's an absolute machine as well. He'll be there to spar as well. He's like one of like Harry Keane and all that. He comes and spars with that, and he wants to fight one of the big MMA shows. So I think probably the next ECMMA, I'll probably get him out there. Connor Frame, his name is, or Chucky Frame. He's a little animal. There's loads coming through, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it.
Make sure you keep bringing them to me, mate, when I'm seeing at these events, and I'm gonna definitely. I'm definitely going to reach out to some of your boys like Will and all them guys to get them on the show like you are now.
I've told them to do some interviews and that. I've told Chloe. I'll tell Chanel and everyone after. I'll send them all a message and that if they're interested in doing it. But yeah, I mean everything's been good. I'm super happy. I just can't wait to get back into it. Get back the team. I'm getting messages from the team. We're all going a bit mad. We're getting out having like Skype parties or something like that because we're just going berserk. Everyone needs to get back in the gym and get training. And it's such a shame because we had such a good last couple of years in the MMA, and this year was going to be our thing. You know, it was really going to hit it this year. We're going to have a lot of pros by the end of the year. Now it's all gone a bit tits up, but it is what it is. Yeah, NHS are doing their job. Everyone should be staying in and doing what we're supposed to be doing, you know?
That's it, mate. You're completely right. And I find it hard, mate. I have to bite my lip sometimes when I walk down the shop, you know, down that once a day, like a bit of exercise we're allowed to have. I walk down the shop and everyone's just chilling in the field and just chilling out on the greens and having picnics. I'm like, I don't think I want to be doing. Do you not think I want to be doing that? And I'm not going to lie, mate. Like, I ain't an aggressive person, but I did walk up to a few lads and said, mate, I ain't being funny. Yeah, but it's people like you. Yeah, it's the reason we're stuck indoors. Do you know what I mean? Because if you lot were all sitting indoors, they'd be like, right, everyone can go back out again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but unfortunately,
I go through the park and there's just people sunbathing, and you know they just don't understand. They're like, well, I'm just with my housemate sunbathing. Yeah, but it's not. It's what you could potentially have to give to someone else that walks past you. You know that's where it is, and it's not. You might not be affected by it, but you know, if I've got it and I give it to you, and then you show no symptoms, but then you give it to your nan or something like that, that's where the problem is. You know, I don't want
people just to wake up when someone dies in their family. It's not the way you should do it, because you watch all these people. They'll moan about it. They'll say, "Oh, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine," and then they'll go and bloody. Do you know what I mean? They'll go pass it to someone else, and they're going to be the reason behind it all. And like, don't want to scare people, but you and me could be sitting there with it right now, but we never bloody know about it.
Exactly that, and that's what I'm trying to explain to people. You know, I've had people messaging me, Steve, can we do some PTs? Can we do this? And it's like, look, I'm not doing anything with anyone, even if it's in the park or something like that, because if I've got something and I don't know, and I give it to you, and then you give it to like your nan or your next door neighbor or someone else that you walk past, I feel terrible. You know, it's not right. You know, especially what I do as well, jiu-jitsu, rolling around, coughing and sweating on each other. No, you know,
exactly, mate. Let's just let it lie and just, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. I see you're doing your online BJJ lessons as well, stuff like that.
I've been doing it with Wave BJJ Lorenzo. He's got me to teach a couple of classes. Really strange and really weird, like screaming and shouting at people down on, like as if I can do anything. At least in the gym, I can chase them around and hit them with like a golf club or something like that. But I can't. And we have got golf clubs at the gym on the side. Don't ask me why. But online, it's hard. Like I'm screaming at people, shouting at them. Like, come on, Chris, do that burpee. And you know, if I was there, I get lost. But I suppose it is what it is. People seem to be enjoying it. I only do it twice a week. Gets me moving as well. And I've been working out indoors, trying to get. No, it's not working. You know,
mate, I've been trying to do bits as well, but because I've been so out of shape recently, I can't even do that, mate. I'm all sore across the chest and everything. It's like going to the gym for the first time in like a year. Bloody killing me.
To me, I did. I lift some weights. Got some weights indoors, just doing some chest, and I haven't done them. I don't really do that workouts like that, and I'm battered now. I'm hurting. Do you know? Yeah. Even if I'm just picking up the coffee.
I did legs. I did legs earlier today, so I'm waiting for when I wake up in the morning. That'll be fun. Do you know what I mean?
I've got chicken legs anyway, so you know. My son said I got legs like a pigeon.
Oh, charming.
Well, he's got longer legs than me, but I'm like 5 inches taller than him or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I think my daughter Chloe's 5'2", and she's got longer legs than me, and I'm 6'1". Don't know how that works. I've got really little legs.
You're born to be a wrestler, mate. You know, just top heavy, mate.
That's just massive torso.
Yeah,
massive torso.
Who's that love,
you know?
Mate?
Bird.
I thought it might be one of the kids come wandering or something.
No. Yeah, I've got tiny little legs, mate. Well, when you come down the gym as well, remind me. We'll sit down next to each other and you can see my little legs. That's why I never full mount anyone because I always get fucked off because I can't hold on with the little legs.
Hey, oh well, you can slip those legs through to get chokes and all sorts of sweeps, mate, and
I'm
stuff.
like a troll doll. Remember the troll dolls? I'm like one of them upside down with the hair coming that way with the little legs, short arms and that. That's what I'm like.
Oh mate, that is your nickname if you do carry on with MMA. It'd be
The
Steven the
troll,
Troll Doll Cook.
yeah?
You have to dye green and pink and all sorts of shit.
You can call me anything you like if it makes you happy. But yeah, everything's good. What about you? Everything going good with you?
Yeah, mate, everything's
Your
fine.
gym?
I'm just chilling at home, mate. I'm just looking after a 13-week pregnant wife, so I can't really do too much, mate, because I can't go near anyone really, because I've got to go
Nah,
near
but
afterwards.
that's the problem there, isn't it? You can't go near anyone. If she's pregnant, nah, you got to really be careful.
I was walking around Tesco's, mate, and two people, mate, leant over me to get something from the shelf, mate. Mate, I was thought, you know what? Don't get the don't be a reprobate. I just wanted to call him a cunt, but there you go. Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly it, isn't it? I didn't know we were allowed to say that word on here. You should have told me earlier.
Although,
I
mate,
started listing some people off from who left it. No.
I have to get the next show be you and all these people on one screen, mate, all having it out. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Actually,
that would be fun, wouldn't it?
we maybe should organise that one day. I think you can get up to like 4 or 5 people on Skype. We'll have 5 different mini screens of half of Team Underground. We'll have some storytelling, mate.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I'm going to speak to Jonathan and see if Jonathan wants to do something like this. That'd be good for your show and stuff like that to get Jonathan on.
Mate. I'm just happy to help, mate. Just happy to help anyone, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's all part of the fun. It'll give you something to do, and you know me, mate. You see me ECMMA. I don't get paid millions of pounds. I just come and have a chat to you all, mate. It's all good fun.
Well, that's the thing as well with me, with doing what I'm doing at the moment. I don't get paid, especially for the amateur team. I don't get anything, and the pro team's just started, so I don't get nothing. I don't expect anything back from the guys. All I expect is loyalty. That's it. I just expect you to be, loyal to me and the gym, because we put a lot of time and effort into these guys, and I don't think some people know, like, without going too deep, how much time and effort goes into like sorting the fights out and organizing things and getting everyone ready. I have 25 fighters. I think more, maybe more than that, and every single one of them, bless them, everyone needs to be babysitted. Everyone has an issue, do you know what I mean? And whether it be, if you're a fighter, you should have, you should be able to do certain things yourself. You should know when you have to train. You should know. You can't say, "Oh, well, I couldn't train today because I was a bit tired." No, I can't train today because I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's what it is. That you're training and fighting to stop that work. Eventually. That's what I see it as anyway. So, you should know when you should have to train. I shouldn't have to tell you. And if I have to tell you, then there's a little bit of an issue. Your own tickets, you should know you have to sell your tickets and how to sell your tickets. It's not hard, is it? You've got your tickets. If you haven't got that many friends, you can speak to me. I'll always help the guys out with that. They can message me and say, "Steve, I'm having trouble," and I'll help them. But don't turn up on the day and say, "Well, I haven't sold any tickets because I didn't know I had to." It's a fight show, Without selling tickets, there isn't going to be a show, is there? So people got to understand that it's a really difficult thing. And I've been a promoter, and I've dealt with Frank from ECMMA, and I've dealt with Dave O'Donnell and the ones in Birmingham and bigger shows up north and stuff like that. And if people ain't buying tickets, then there's not going to be a show. So if you ain't turning up to training, you ain't selling your tickets, you're not fighting. This is that simple, isn't it? Do you have any of them issues?
Sorry?
Do you have any of them issues?
The issues I always have, mate, it's just pullouts, mate, when I'm matchmaking for people and stuff like that. That's the killer thing. And Cage Warriors, is a different sort of level. You've got to get safe MMA tested and everything like that. So there's a whole different level to that sort of thing as well. But, mate, all it is really is that it's just trying to get people in there, and then it's just dealing with last-minute pullouts, which I can't be bothered with. People who just want to put a poster up on their Facebook or Instagram, like, "I've got a fight coming up," and then a week before they put it out.
I've seen many of them. I've had them in the gym as well. I've had them in the gym. The tail of the tape, they've agreed 27 fights, and then they've pulled out of 27 fights, but they've got 27 posters. You know?
Exactly. I can't be dealing, and it's good. They're all getting named and shamed now, and I think so bloody right. Do you know what I mean? I think they should.
The name and shame page is brilliant. You know, the
You've
name and
got
shame page.
you got some poor fight, like you say, you got someone like your boy, for example, who's done like a 6-7 week training camp. You know, worked his ass off, and then the kid just doesn't even turn up.
Yeah.
It's a piss take. And then what they're going to do? Oh yeah, we'll chuck you a journeyman. It's like, well, all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem as well. That's happened quite a few times. You know, at the moment with the journeymen are holding the sport together.
Yeah, they are 100%. Yeah, they're keeping the
They're
cogs
holding
turning.
the sport together.
They'll turn up, mate. They'll always turn up, and they'll turn up on short notice. And I'll tell you one thing I'll give them boys, though, is that if you put them in a boxing ring, a lot of these journeyman guys, right, yeah, and they'll do bloody well, you know. But in MMA, they'll openly admit, you know, they're doing it just for, you know, to help out, keep the cogs turning, earn a bit of money. But if you look at them boxing, like you see names like Will Cairns, for example, yeah, he hasn't actually. Tell a lie, he won his first MMA fight a couple of months.
I saw it, and it was brutal as well, wasn't
He
it?
knocked the geezer out. He knocked the geezer clean out. And I'm telling you, these boys on their feet. I've spoke to a lot of the guys from Streets MMA. Is it Streets MMA?
Yeah, Streets.
Yeah. I spoke to them up there, and they said, like, if you want us to come and fight, like a proper fight, then put us in a boxing ring or put us in a boxing match. And I'll tell you what, they fought in BKB, some of those boys and everything, and done quite well. You know? So,
well, even Marcus Stevenson, he's if you watch him box, he's not bad. He's come down. You know, Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
He's a Fruit Loop. I love him. But he's come down and trained with us before. Just done some boxing and stuff like that. And yeah, he's got hands. He knows what he's doing. You know, he knows what he's doing. But these guys, they're holding this this game together. Like some of the pullouts, and I mean, I know on the last show we was going to have, I had so many pullouts, I was going to have to fill it with a few journeymen. And the thing is, I think when you fight journeymen, I fought journeymen. You can be it can be quite nerve-wracking because you're expected to win.
Yeah, that's where it gets harder. Yeah,
you're expected to win. It's not like, oh well, you know, you're fighting that guy, and you know, you never know. You're expected to win. There's no ifs and buts about it. You're expected to win. And I've seen on Dave's shows and Frank's shows, and I've seen journeymen win, and you never know what can happen. You know, they'll come out, they'll swing. The thing is with journeymen, a lot of the time they'll give up, like after a little bit, if it's not going their way, they're like, I'm not taking no injuries, I'm out. But for that first minute and a half, if you're not careful, you could be in a lot of trouble. You know.
You notice a lot of them get taken down. To be honest with you, because that's it. That's where they know they're going to win. But if you stay on the feet, as I said, it can be a different story.
That's what I'm talking about. I've seen it happen. I've seen people stand like that Will Cairns, and that knockout as well was unbelievable.
Moving backwards, wasn't he? Moving backwards.
Yeah, like I watched that, and me and Will Druitt were talking about him a few weeks before. And I saw that knockout, and I tagged Will on it on Facebook. I said, "Will, have a look." And Will was like, "Oh my god, like, you know, it's a great knockout." If you haven't seen it, guys, go and watch it.
No, quality, man. I said, and no disrespect to the other guy, but that's what you get, mate, when you think you got an easy fight. There you go, pure example of it.
That's exactly it, you know. So I mean, you know, I think that I with the journeymen, I think some of the newer guys and some of the pro guys, you look at Anthony Joshua and people like that. You look at a lot of the fights as journeymen. Everyone fights. You have to pad your record a little bit, I think, to potentially go to bigger shows and things. So if you go pro and you just fight the best immediately, oh God, you know, you're going to end up with a journeyman record yourself, but the other way around, you know. So I think that. You know, journeyman, they're holding it together for us at the moment. I think for a lot of the shows, I think a lot of the shows are using them. But the best Cage Warriors, the way I see Cage Warriors, the Cage Warriors Southeast, the way that Jack Mason does it, I never see any journeyman in his show. It's just all bad guys, you know.
Yeah.
Really, once on a blue moon, I think you might see if it's a last minute pullout, but it's just they're legit. He has like 40 legit monster fights, you know. Wow. He brings them all over from Norway and Sweden and stuff like that. And, scary guys.
Last year, a load of French boys come over as well. I remember rightly as well, the academy. And yeah, mate, it's incredible, man. And I'll tell you what, mate. I definitely want to.
I think he's really, really good. I think that Cage Warriors Southeast shows in a really, really good show. I have a lot of time for Jack. He's really good. I love it. Honestly.
Yeah, man. I spoke to him a couple times myself, you know, and yeah, babe, he doesn't want no Mickey Mouse fights in there for sure. And I tell you what, Steve, as well, mate, is I would love to sit here. I can't wait to come to your gym, by the way, and chat to you
Yeah.
more, mate. But I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I said we're at an hour and 16, and I really have to. I don't want to cut it off. I really don't, because I'm having such a lovely chat with you, mate. Do you know what I mean?
That's all right, buddy.
But mate, it's been a fantastic chatting with you, mate. I've actually really enjoyed it. I've sat in awe, and I literally just looked up at the counter and thought, oh shit. That's gone for a little while.
Was you looking at my
But
beard? Was that what it was, wasn't it?
I'm jealous, mate, because my lockdown beard ain't as good as yours yet. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
it will do. One day you'll be
One
there,
day,
you know.
one day I'll hit puberty properly, mate. I'm only 33. I've got plenty of time. It's all
Oh,
good.
sexy baby.
Well, before I let you go, then, mate, I just want you to give a shout out to, if you haven't already, obviously, please repeat yourself. That'd be fine. To any gyms, any people, any sponsors, anything that's helped you to get to where you are, as well as all your fighters, mate.
You know what? It's not a shout out, but just one thing that I've always thought. I thought we've been in the MMA community and watching the Muay Thai community, the difference between them. Just quickly is that, you know, if you go to the Muay Thai shows and the fights and stuff, everyone is, you know, they're beating each other up, but they're still friendly. Majority of the time, they're still friendly. With the MMA guys, they're not friendly. It's so polar opposite, and I don't know why. I think that with the MMA community, you can still be friends. It's a competition at the end of the day, you know. There's nothing wrong with cross training here and there, you know. I think that within London, especially, we don't support, like the MMA team. We don't really support each other a lot. It's like, oh well, he's from that team or he's from that team, and I don't like him. I don't. You know what? At the end of the day, until we're in the UFC or ONE FC or Bellator or one of the massive shows, you know, we should all be helping each other to get to the best. You know, if you've got a fight, I mean, you see in the big shows in the UFC, people like Andrei Arlovski and Travis Brown beating each other up in the cage, one of the best MMA fights ever. And they were roommates. They were living together for like 2 years. You know, there's no reason why you can't support each other to get to the top. And I think that's my one thing that if anything I could say to all the other gyms and everyone else is that there's no reason why we can't support each other and help each other. And if you need to send fighters down to me or I send fighters to you to spar and things like that. And if they end up having to fight each other at some point, so what? You know, just get on with it. Just don't worry about it. It is what it is. It's a competition at the end of the day. It's nothing personal. You can make it personal like Conor McGregor and Chael Sonnen when you get to the UFC. But until then, let's not worry about it. Until you're getting made mega bucks, let's not worry about it. But shout outs, obviously, my shout outs are to Team Underground and Wade BJJ, because as much as I love everyone in the teams, my family, missus, everything like that. And everyone at the gym, you're all bad guys, man, all of you. I'm not going to go through names. If I've missed anyone out, I'm sorry, but you know, you can take it out with me. But all of you guys at the gym, the whole amateur MMA team, you know, Ahmed, Rob, all of you guys, Amir, you're all the bollocks, and all the pro team, you're all amazing. Jonathan, John, Amir, Scott, love the whole team, everyone.
Nice. I just can't wait for this lockdown to be lifted so I can finally see all these boys back in action again, mate. I was a bit gutted I didn't get to see Will fight on the last ECMA card as well. But we won't go into that though, don't worry. But I said it was good to see Harry pick up the title again. It's good to see your boy win and a few others, mate. So, mate, I can't wait for this lockdown to be done so we can just see the continuous rise of Team Underground, and give it 2 years that all these AMI boys, mate, they'll all be pros, you know, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And I think that, you know, people will move and move around, and hopefully, you know, my next goal is to unite all the MMA teams. You can fight each other, but we need to be friends, you know, and that's the end of it. I don't like walking around shows and being like evil with each other. It is what it is. I'm not into all that slagging each other off game and the internet wars and all that sort of stuff. There's my number. We can have a chat. You know, it's as simple as that. It's let's all be friends, but let's beat each other up at the same time, you know?
That's it, mate. You've had it, and if you don't, then you're going to eat crickets. Okay, simple as
That's
that.
it. That's exactly it, mate. That's exactly it. Thank you very much, Chris.
No, man, I appreciate you taking the time to come on, mate. It's been great chatting to you, mate. It's actually been nice to have some human interaction as well, which is always nice, you know. So, and as soon as it's all up and lifted, mate, we'll arrange a date and I'll come up to your gym if that's all right still. And
mate, I'd love you to come down. And haven't you got a couple of good fighters yourself?
Yeah, we've got a couple. Yeah. Got a couple of heavyweights, a couple of middleweights.
Yeah, really good heavyweight guy. Yeah, bring them down, man. We just have a roll about, you know. Bring them down.
I was in an unfortunate situation last time because the last ECMA card, there was the heavyweight pro MMA fight.
Yeah.
And both my guys were going to fight in a card in Scotland. I don't want to name them at all, but unfortunately it was pulled. It was pulled at last minute. Okay.
Oh, no.
So they both really wanted to fight and they decided between themselves they were going to fight each other. And I was sitting there like, oh, shit. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, they wanted to fight each other. They don't train at the same place, but I find them, both of them fights them, but they wanted to fight each other. So, mate, let's do it. You know, that's what happened, you know. So it's
Why
what it
not,
is.
mate? It is what it is, you know, nothing personal. They're all right with each other now?
Yeah, mate, they've offered to come and train with each other and everything like that. Like,
There you go.
unfortunately,
Exactly that.
unfortunately, it was a first round like KO sort, like TKO sort of thing. But at the end of the day, afterwards, they were shaking hands. You know what I mean? They still chatting now because they share the same sponsors. Do you know what I mean? That I've got for them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we're in group chats. There's no hard feelings at all. And straight after the fight, my other guy, I messaged him or say straight after in the evening, messaged him saying like, I hope you're right. And he was saying like, cool, that kick nearly broke my ribs, I think. And you know what I mean? So he's giving him feedback saying great kicks and all that stuff. So that's what I like to see. And they still get on now, mate. And even though they both still want that fight again at some point, as you can imagine, but we'll see. So, yeah.
Mate, listen, you want to bring them down, if you want to come down or bring anyone down, or, you know, if you just want to come down and have a chin wag and then go to the pub, I'm up for it. Either way.
I'll bring the camera like I'm here in the microphone, mate, and we'll get around the whole gym and chat to a load of them as well, mate. That'd be great as well.
That would be fine, mate. We'd love that. Mate, you let me know the date and we'll sort it all out. Well, once we're all out of this lockdown.
Yeah, mate. Perfect, man. Well, we'll definitely keep in touch, mate, 100%. And I'm sure once this lockdown's done, I'll be seeing you in the near future, mate, if it doesn't last too long. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, Chris. Thank you very much, buddy. You have a great day. Thank you to everyone.
You too, mate.
See you later. All right?
Cheers, fella.
Take care.
Thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.